Good morning. It is 10:04 on your Tuesday morning. Anthony Ponce here alongside Caitlin Cody for our little Tuesday edition of Chicago Now.
Yeah, sorry you heard a little Jake in the background.
Can't get too much Jake.
You know, we're all getting work done right now.
He's on the loudspeaker. Caitlin,
Yes.
What's up with this fog? When's this stuff
Oh,
gonna
I
burn
know.
off?
Oh, goodness gracious. It looks soupy out there. We do have fog in Chicago, but it's not causing issues with visibility close to ground. So you're going to be able to drive where you need to go. Waukegan, though, right next to the lake where the airport is, reporting just over a 10th mile of visibility.
Oh,
so the
no.
fog is very thick there.
Okay.
It'll be gone within the next few hours, I do
Burn
expect.
off.
Partly sunny skies, temperatures today back to the mid and upper 70s. We do have the chance for a few isolated showers and storms this afternoon, especially southeast of Chicago. Same thing tomorrow, same thing Thursday. So we have kind of that potential for some poppy showers and storms, but the temperatures
Are going to be good.
phenomenal.
Okay, good. I could
Upper
use a little
80s
rain.
on Thursday.
I could use a little rain in our yard because my sprinkler system is out.
I don't even have one of
Malfunctioning.
those.
Yeah.
You know, we
I
just let
was
the grass go.
out there by hand. Oh yeah, I have not cut the grass all year, so.
So you're doing that thing.
I might do it. I mean,
grass
we're
thing.
halfway into May.
and if your neighbors look at you sideways, just be like, listen,
Hey.
it's for the environment.
For the pollinators.
It's for the
pollinators.
bumblebees and the bunny rabbits.
All right, we got a
remember?
jam-packed hour
Yes.
here. We have some interesting little factoids here about children. All right. First of all, how long they are staying on their parents' cell phone plans.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run through
Okay.
that. All the best, or sorry, not best, but most popular baby names from 2024. The definitive
Ooh.
list from the Social Security Administration is
Fun.
out right now. And
Okay.
Caitlin, your kids have just the cutest names, so
They're
I'm
wild.
going to get the stories
Yours
behind
do
those.
too.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to be joined by a legal expert as well to talk about day one of the Diddy
Yep.
trial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to get the not only the cliff notes. We're going to dive in because there's already been some fireworks, as you can imagine,
Right.
with this trial as well. Also, we're going to be joined by barbecue royalty here in the city of Chicago.
Over Zoom, unfortunately, we're not going to be getting the
We've
taste.
got plenty of table space over there,
That's what
too,
I'm saying,
where
you
they
guys.
where they could hook us up.
Bring us some barbecue. It's basically lunch. We've lived 3 lives already.
And you probably heard us talking about this on Good Day, but
Yeah.
the Bulls got their pick last night, or at least they know what order they're going to pick.
And not happy about it.
Not too happy. I mean, it's not an absolute
What-
disaster, but
yeah.
we didn't, let's just say we didn't get lucky. So we're going to be speaking with one of our sports producers about the implications for the team.
Okay.
Okay? But first up,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You got 3 kids.
Uh-huh.
These kids are expensive, right?
Are they expensive? Yes.
They are pricey.
From diapers
Little
on.
tykes.
Yeah. So
They're
we're talking about
pricey.
these. You know what else is pricey? A cell phone.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. A new AT&T survey has people talking because it turns out Americans don't exactly rush over to take their own phone bills. The average
Wonder why.
age, 27.
27.
Which I'm trying to think because I was on my parents' longer than I probably should have been as well.
Do you remember?
Same thing with health insurance. I think all the way up until that was over. Which what age is that? It's in your 20s. Is it mid 20s? Maybe Jenna could look it up for
I
us.
do not know, but didn't they extend it to like 25 where you can
I think so.
stay on your
yes.
parents?
So maybe
and
that's
be a
kind of the
dependent?
track. Which, fine. I think it's fine.
That doesn't bother me. The cell phone thing at 27.
That bothers you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that folks need to get their stuff together before that. I mean,
Yeah.
even my 9-year-old. Okay, so he's got the Apple Watch.
Yes,
Right.
right.
And it's because he's riding his bike around the neighborhood. It tracks his location.
He's
everything,
already
but
paying his bill?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a $10 allowance, so he doesn't pay all of it, but
No
but
way.
he has to pay. He had to pay for. I matched his dollar to buy the thing, but he's got to do his chores and his piano to earn that thing. And the average age is 27.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have I mean, your kids are a little younger than mine, but what's your plan on that? Aren't you going to make them pop for it when the time is right, or no?
I just feel like straight out of college, you get paid pennies. You can't afford your own cell phone bill most of the time. I mean, how much is it? $100?
The Cody family is a good family to be born into.
Ha ha ha! That's right. My kids can live
It
with
comes
me
with a lot of fringe benefits.
forever and ever and ever. Just stay with mommy.
Don't be born in the Ponce family. You got to pay your own way in my house.
You're gonna hate this next.
Okay.
This next stat. 1 in 5 wait until they're 40. How is that even a thing? What? Here,
1 in
wait,
5.
okay. Maybe this is like the family plan, because you think about it, it's cheaper sometimes to get on a family plan. So maybe they're like, listen, mom and dad, I want to stay on your thing. I'll send you money.
Okay.
Because it's
that's
cheaper.
totally fine. I would fully support that.
I bet that this plays a role in some of these numbers.
But,
it has to.
Okay, and then nearly 1 in 3 don't start paying until 30. So these things just kind of shock me. I mean, I'm 40. Full disclosure, I'm 46.
Yeah.
Okay, so I came up in an interesting time where it was the transition time. Like, I know the analog world. I wasn't just born into the digital world. So cell phones came online, the brick Nokia ones when I was, early 20s. Now, it was rare to have one. I was kind of late to the game.
You had the car phone with the bag.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We didn't have one,
that
but that's what they were. Yeah, with the little bag thing and the coil. So I can actually remember growing up in a non-cell phone world. So it just surprises me that
1 in 3 don't start paying
it's
until
just these are wild.
It goes along the same lines of auto insurance. I think my first job, my parents were still paying for my auto insurance. Do I think there's a problem with it? I think it probably depends on the situation, right?
Yeah.
Like a college student, I feel like you've got so many bills. School is so expensive. I don't know. I don't see a problem with it.
It's an individual thing that families need to kind of work out for how much what training wheels, when to leave the nest, you know what I'm saying? But 40 years old, come on.
Babies, you can live
but
with me
I think
until
you
you're
might
40.
have a point there,
I'll
Caitlin.
pay for your cell phone bills. I'm a psycho, I know. Okay,
we're
let's
going
change
to talk
the
about
topic.
your babies because your babies have the cutest names, and the reason we're talking about it is because the Social Security Administration has released the top baby names of 2024.
Okay.
Olivia
wait, I've got my wrong
Liam.
card. Where are we at?
Olivia
here we are.
and Liam.
Olivia and Liam.
So those, I guess, are repeat champions.
I love that.
A lot of Liams, a lot of Olivias.
Super cute. A couple names that I'm obsessed with right now. For a girl, Navy.
Navy. Like Army Navy, or is it spelled different? Okay.
N-A-V-Y, like the color. Navy.
Oh, here we go.
And then there was another name that hit me. Oh, Lucas is the name of my dog. It's a good, solid name. James is a classic name.
James, that's one that has certainly stood the test of time.
Liam is very cute, though. And then Olivia, Natalie's daughter's name is Olive, which is kind of a spin-off.
That's a variation on it.
Of Olivia.
Elijah, look at that. That's down from 5. I guess Eli. Yeah, Eli's a
Eli,
super cute
very
name.
popular biblical name, I think.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
And then
Same
William.
with Mateo, although that's the Spanish version of it.
Okay, so William is number 10, which reminds me, my husband's grandpa's name was Bobby, and I wanted to name our daughter Bobby.
Oh, that's a cute
I thought
name.
that would be so
It's very cute.
But I'm the weird.
Tell our Chicago Now audience your kids' names.
So we've got
cute.
Birdie Jane, which Birdie, I haven't met another Birdie. Birdie. And then Darcy Peach, which...
Is her middle name actually Peach?
Literally Peach. I wanted to name her first name Peach.
Little Peach.
To name her Peach, and then Grady was like, absolutely not. But Peach actually was the nickname of Grady's grandma, so that's where that name came from.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Jane is my grandma's name, and then Bodie Brooks is kind of just like a montage of just names that rung right. But even our dogs, I wanted to name Luke Turtle because he liked a turtle when he was a puppy, and then I wanted to name Charlie Banana. So do not let me pick the names.
You definitely have a fruit theme going, which is cute.
Right? Tell me about your family.
Well, our oldest is Theo. That didn't make the list. And our youngest is Jero. He goes by Jero, but his full name is actually Geronimo with a J.
Yeah.
And I remember when we named him at the hospital, the lovely nursing team over at Prentice Hospital told us that was the very first Geronimo ever to come out of that particular hospital. But yeah, he doesn't really go by Geronimo.
Where'd you get that name idea?
It was Maggie's, and she kind of via persistence, because I was Jero is totally fine. Like, that's a fairly normal sounding name. It's like Arrow with a J.
Yeah.
Geronimo's kind of extreme, but I always thought, you know what, he could upgrade to the full name if he ever becomes whenever he wants.
He probably will choose to next year.
It'd be a cool artist's name.
Geronimo is awesome.
There's a Geronimo Allen, I believe, plays for the Packers. But
There
there's
you
a few
go.
Geronimos out there.
That
I don't
was
know if they go
another
by
thing.
Gero.
You guys, sports. So Bodie is Bodie Miller, right? He's
Oh,
a
yes.
skier.
The skier.
And
Sure.
then there was a baseball player named Ashley that was a guy, and I was like, Ashley
I went to school
for
with
a
an Ashley.
boy. Darling. Obsessed.
In the 80s, where bullying was prevalent, Ashley, he changed it to Tim after a while because he was getting.
Oh,
and then
bullied,
I
yeah.
also went to school with a Whitney who had some problems with bullies and that.
I could
You know,
see.
nowadays,
Yeah.
the unisex name is it's much more mainstream. So there you go. Do we have the list of the girls'
Yeah.
names though? We flashed the boys' names. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay, so girls. We
Take
got
us through
Olivia.
these, Kate.
Emma. I know lots of little Emmas. Amelia. Actually, Birdie's best friend's name is Emma. How sweet. Charlotte. Love it. Maya.
I think that's Mia,
Mia. Okay.
right?
I don't know.
Yes.
Sophia. I love the name
That's
Soph.
a newcomer to the top 5, I think is what. Yeah, Sophia broke into the top
Sophia.
10 for girls, bumping Luna out. Luna had made a top 10 run.
Wait,
Luna's
we've got a
out.
Sophia and a Sophia. Number 6 and 10 are the same names, you guys. Come on.
Varying spelling. This is the
Sophia,
this is the Social Security Administration. They're very precise.
This should be moved
Sophia,
up then.
Sophia.
Sophia needs to be number 1 if it's on there twice.
Sophia.
Ava, we've got Evelyn up there. Isabella. That reminds me of Twilight. Bella.
Yeah.
Bella.
Yeah, good names. We'll see how long Liam and Emma and Olivia maintain their status.
It came to my brain. You know what name I heard of the other day, and I was like, ooh, maybe we should have named Bodie this.
What?
Everett. How cute is the name Everett?
We got a little Everett across the street.
You
Great
do?
kid. Yeah. Yeah.
Everett. If you
Cute-
name your
he's
kid
a cute
Everett,
little
you're cool
tyke,
parents.
too.
Everett. Oh, that name is so cute. If you're thinking about names, though, again, circling back, look at professional athletes' names. Just look at the rosters.
Go
Go
you
through
can
'em.
find some amazing ones.
Some good
You can
ones.
really find some amazing ones.
Yeah.
Okay, up at Six Flags, they have a big summer that is kicking off right now. And the big hype is around this roller coaster, which there are coaster communities, Caitlin, where they go around from park to park and they go all around the world to test these roller coasters. They're going to be, I don't know what they're called, coaster heads, coaster freaks, something. I don't know
Okay.
but they're all going to be making the pilgrimage to Gurney later in the summer because there is a new coaster coming to Chicagoland. It's called the Wrath of Rakshasa. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's supposedly got one of the most extreme, I don't know the
Drops?
Drops, exactly.
But
it's
it
like
takes
90
you. Is this the one we show? Can we pull it up again? Is this the one where you go straight and you're looking around and seeing how far you're going to fall and then you go?
Exactly. We showed a little animation last week, but there was a cast. This is kind of interesting. They put out like a spontaneous casting call yesterday from 10 to 3.
Casting call.
A casting call for the commercial for the Wrath. I'm just going to call it the Wrath because Rakshasa is kind of hard to pronounce. They opened up an application window yesterday for 5 hours from 10 to 3. And I guess the folks that are lucky enough to have made the list are about to get an email like as we speak.
Wait a second. You've got to try out for this? Like, do they like?
I think you apply. I don't know what
This is funny.
what the application asked, but you're going to be contacted this afternoon if you made the cut. Caitlin, what is your take on this? Would you be somebody that would volunteer? Like if Good Day Chicago, for example, we go out and do things in the field, as we call it.
Sure.
Would you do this?
Are these the first people to ever ride it? The first people to ever ride it?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. What
I'm
about
gonna stay on the
you?
ground. I would be among the first,
Not
but
the
I
first.
want it to run a few times.
Yeah.
A few
I mean-
other guinea pigs on there.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in anything like that
You're
anymore.
not? Okay. Well, I think you...
Thrills are not for me. I've got enough going on, you guys. I
Okay,
can't
so
handle it.
if any of the executive producers are listening to us right now, I guess Caitlin's not the candidate to send out for
No.
the grand debut.
But
of the
Ponce
Wrath.
is.
I'm not
so
ruling it out.
we could do.
I'm not ruling
We'll
it
throw
out.
a camera on you and we'll just watch your face the whole time of the bug.
I don't.
Did you see that? Did you see that Kevin Hart when he was riding the roller coaster that one time, and then he was with Jimmy Fallon, and all of a sudden you see, and they slow it down. Oh no, Jimmy got hit in the face. I think I can't remember which one of them, but it was comical. The bug hit him in the forehead
during the ride.
We gotta pull this up, you guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, she's looking for it.
That's
okay,
a big ass.
So this is a Jimmy Fallon, Kevin Hart roller coaster ride. This is worth your time. You have to watch this clip. It is so funny. But yes, no, I'm excited about the idea of a new roller coaster. I don't want to be the one to do it.
I rode the Goliath, which is the current kind of I don't know, Grand
big boy roller coaster.
Big boy
sure.
roller coaster
Yeah.
at Six Flags with my then 8-year-old, who is apparently fearless.
No
I never went on these
way.
coasters when I was young. He wanted to.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
You guys,
Nicely
this
done.
is so funny. Can we crank up? Let me turn up my volume.
Let's see.
Is
I'm
there
not sure
sound
if we have
with it?
audio, but they look
Okay,
kinda
watch
scared.
this. This is so funny, you guys. So they're riding this roller coaster, then all of a sudden, I can't remember which one. I think it was Jimmy gets hit in the head with the bug. And you'll see it.
You watch Jimmy, I'll watch Kevin.
Okay. They're really having a good time here.
Kevin does not. Kevin Hart doesn't look like he's having that good of a time. He looks like he's saying a couple prayers.
Okay. Wouldn't Kevin Hart be the best
What
person
ride is
to
that?
ride?
That looks fun.
I don't know. Oh my goodness. Oh, here we go. I think it's coming up. There it is.
Oh, it was Jimmy.
Yeah.
A bug.
And then they slow it down and circle it. Imagine if a camera is on your face. There it is.
Oh, it hit him right in the nose, it looks like.
Oh no.
Kind of an amazing reflex by him, too. Did you see how quickly his eyes closed?
Imagine if it landed in your mouth. I've seen roller coasters, people getting hit by birds and stuff.
Oh, no.
It's a hazard.
One of my very first experiences, I actually led to my first girlfriend. I had the crush on
a roller coaster?
Yeah, I had a crush on this girl. We went to the class trip to Six Flags. I've actually never told this story.
Yeah.
On the ride, I lost my hat. Later in the day, she volunteered to go back with me to that roller coaster to search for my hat.
Did you find it?
Yeah, we found it and we wound up dating. So yeah, it was called the Shockwave, and I remember I had a really cool corduroy Bears hat that I loved. Fell right off. We went and got that.
You've got such a quality head of hair. I'm sure after a roller coaster, it was just the flow was
kind of like
going.
Jimmy's.
Yeah. Oh, that was
All right,
so
we're going to
funny.
take a short break, everybody. But the Bulls learned their fate in the NBA Lotto. We are going to be speaking with one of our in-house sports experts about what this means for the future of the team when we come back.
attempts in the NBA, there's a handful of guys they could pick that kind of fits that scheme right there and maybe help them make some of those third most attempts in the NBA.
Chris, will you kind of run us through so that we can put this behind us, the whole coin toss thing, kind of run us through the dynamic that was at play last night? Because I understand it kind of came down to Dallas as well, and we kind of narrowly missed getting that number one pick.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you look back at it and you start to play the what if game, you know? You talk about the coin flip that happened last night right before the lottery where the Mavericks had 1.8% chance of winning the lottery. The Bulls had 1.7. If the Bulls had lost one more game, they would have had the 1.8%, which you start thinking, well, maybe if Josh Giddey doesn't hit that incredible half-court shot,
Against
the
the
Bulls
Lakers. Yeah.
right, and you keep thinking, oh man, like what if? But it's one of those random wild luck of the draw moments where you kind of keep thinking, if only it was heads, or maybe if they called tails, or maybe if they just flipped it a little bit harder in the air. Like, it's one of those things where you kind of think, well, it's difficult because the Bulls have been hoping for lottery luck for years, and they were one small happenstance away from getting that lottery luck.
Jeez Louise. Okay, so what is the biggest need that they have heading into this draft? And is there anyone projected around number 12 who could fill that gap?
Yeah, I think right now when you start thinking of what the Bulls have specifically on their roster, they have Nikola Vucevic, who's a center that kind of fits what they're trying to do. He can shoot threes, he can rebound, he gets a lot of double doubles, but he's been on the trade block for a while. So we're still waiting to see if he's going to be on the roster come trade night. He might be traded on draft night. We don't know. We're still waiting to see what the options are with him. But also, do you think about what the Bulls need as someone who can fit into their offense right away, who can take threes accurately, who knows how to space the floor, how to give guys like Kobe White more room to play on offense. A guy like Kasper Strakonis from Illinois, a local guy, guys that have been around this area too, that fits that mold where he can pass. He's a little bit on the taller side at 6'6". He's shot a lot of threes in college, so the Bulls have a lot of data points that they could take a look at there too. But also a guy like Will Riley from Illinois, who's a little bit on the taller side. He's like 6'8" or so. That can help space the floor too, but also give them a rebounding presence. But if they trade Vooch, then you should probably think, well, maybe we should probably get some big guys to put down the blow block there.
Okay, we'll see what happens there. I want to have you touch as well on the situation with the Dallas Mavericks, who did wind up getting that pick. I'm guessing their management is pretty happy about this, given how stuff played out with Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic.
I mean, you couldn't write a better script. And I know if you go on Twitter today, everybody's screaming rigged at the top of their lungs right now.
Ah,
Because you go back to the midseason trade, which just shook everything up. And, a couple of my best friends are Lakers fans.
okay.
When you go back to that February trade where they traded their guy Luka Doncic, their star, the bona fide guy that has been the guy in Dallas for years to the Lakers, it seemed like it was one of those trades where you're like, I don't understand what the thought process is here. We don't understand what's going on. And it's a weird validation for Dallas, where you're kind of like, well, maybe the trade actually did play out because now you got Kyrie Irving coming back from an injury. You've got Anthony Davis, who's that big guy that can play defense and also score. And then you assume Cooper
Yes.
Flag from
Yeah,
Duke, the
you
guy that
assume
we've
Cooper
been
Flag.
talking about as the number one guy I mean, since before the guy was even in college. I mean, we were talking about him as the number one pick for months, and now that the Mavs, we kind of start thinking, could they contend with that next year? We don't
Yeah.
really know, but that's the luck of the draw that they got.
Unbelievable. Could it be another kind of like super team if Cooper Flag is really good, Kyrie Irving,
Well, that's what we need
and
to
Anthony
know.
Davis?
Chris,
Yeah.
what's your prediction for this year? And be honest. How do you
Yeah,
think
with
it's
the
gonna
Bulls, with the Bulls. They only won 39 games, right, this past year?
Yeah, they did, and they were in the play-in tournament for the third straight year and got
Then
bounced out of the play-in
bounced. Yeah,
tournament
that's
by the
right.
Miami Heat for the third straight year. So you kind of hope we don't see the Miami Heat for the fourth straight year. But in any case, right now we're thinking it depends on who falls, because in the draft you never know what happens. You never know if someone makes a trade, if some people wheel and deal, and the Bulls might get active too. They're in the middle of this retooling era. And the Bulls have been very upfront and straight up with reporters saying we don't want to full rebuild. We want to be competitive. We want to win games. We want to win games now. But the problem is you don't have the roster conducive to do that. So they need a player like Cooper Flag to help really inject a lot of those wins, but that's just not going to happen now. But I think there could be an option where a player falls to the Bulls like Matas Buzelis did last year or he comes in, kind of learns the game, and then at midway point of the season starts to show what he's made of. And I think the Bulls could do that. If they do, they get another young talent like that and get a good free agent or two, maybe someone that can shoot off the bench, someone that can score. We might be able to see the Bulls incrementally increase. It's hard to think about what they could do considering they haven't been really active in the free agent pool in years. But I think when you take all that into account, they have the opportunity to really improve their standing, really improve where they stand. But it's just tough because we haven't seen a full direction from this front office in a while. This last year, they made a
Mhm.
bunch of trades, but they didn't get any draft players or draft capital for that. They didn't get any draft picks to add because this would have been a great year to get that because there's a lot of really good players. But they've been fully adamant about winning. But right now, it's kind of stuck in the middle, kind of stuck in
Yeah,
mediocrity.
yeah, we'll have to trust whatever process is unfold. I do like what I've seen out of Buzelis. He seems like a great young player. All right, before we let you go, Chris, I want to get your thoughts. Do we still have him? Okay. I want to get your thoughts on the Bears schedule. I understand we know a couple of the games, but what are we going to learn later today?
We're probably gonna figure out a couple more games. I think the one thing that we're still looking at and thinking about right away is whether or not the Bulls are gonna play a Christmas Day game. And I think yesterday we got the news that they're gonna play on the 20th, that Saturday before Christmas. And that kind of opens up the idea. It's like, well, you get an extra day there. You get an extra day on that Saturday before Christmas to think, well, maybe there'll be a Christmas Day game. The NFL's been putting a lot of emphasis
Mhm.
on that, and that's a Thursday. So it kind of uniquely kind of goes into the usual week schedule that the NFL has of putting a game on Thursday. The Bears might fit that. They might put them with the Washington Commanders there, which I mean, like you talk about a Christmas present for the gift
That'd be
or
great.
for the Bears fans, try to get back at the team that stunned them with the Hail Mary last year. But that's what we'll figure out. I'm really interested to see what kind of primetime games the Bears are going to get. Luckily they're not playing on Thanksgiving this year because I remember trying to make Thanksgiving dinner and watch the Keep Up with
I
the
think they're
Bears and
playing the
almost
day
burning the
after
turkey.
Thanksgiving, right?
Oh yeah, Black
Black
Friday, which
Friday.
hopefully they can get a good discount touchdown or two. We'll see.
Yes, indeed. All right, Chris, thank you so much for your time as always, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're switching gears when we come back. We're going to talk about day one of the Diddy trial, which is now underway. Fireworks all around, salacious details, the whole 9 yards, with a legal expert when we come back.
10:36 to Chicago Now. So opening statement started Monday in the trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. So Combs was arrested back in September of 2024 in New York after being indicted by a federal grand jury on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. So his arrest followed a months-long investigation, and after a flurry of women came forward with allegations of sexual and other abuse, he has pleaded not guilty.
So that's where things stand right now. The trial is just now underway, and here to break it down for us is Hannah Waddell, who has been following the early goings of this trial. Hannah, welcome to the program. We appreciate you being here.
It's okay.
Okay, there's her mic. There's her mic. Give us your reaction first off just to how things are kicking off. Any surprise, anything that has really jumped out at you so far?
So far, nothing is extremely surprising. Everything that's been leading up to starting today, we've expected, and there has been precedent for essentially in recent charges against other celebrities in the last couple of years. So, nothing super surprising as of yet, but this is day one, opening statements.
So the prosecution has described a pattern of abuse spanning 2 decades with serious charges including sex trafficking, racketeering, and obstruction. So how significant is it that they're framing this as a criminal enterprise instead of isolated incidents?
So there actually is significant precedent for charging individuals with a criminal enterprise. Most recently, we've seen R. Kelly was charged with racketeering. And funnily enough, the term racketeering actually stems from Chicago, where I am right now. I'm actually in the criminal courthouse in Chicago right now, at the Layton Criminal Courthouse. And racketeering was originated for the Teamsters Union, organized crime coming out of there, coercive, fraudulent, extortionary, illegal coordinated schemes or rackets that can be determined from one person. And essentially, what they're charging P. Diddy with is the using his money, power, influence toward criminal acts. So they're essentially saying that the possibility of him being able to use anyone who worked for him, his staff, they essentially become accomplices, hiding it from the public, using his significant music career, his income to just sustain his crimes over time is what they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, he's got tentacles in a lot of different industries, and his network is major. So that's an interesting aspect to this. Now, these videos that we have seen, obviously the really disturbing one of Diddy appearing to assault Cassie. There's testimony of attempted bribery from hotel staff. How do factors like that, having these visuals of him with this abuse, how might that impact a jury?
It can be very hard to overcome visual evidence. We like to assume that we can believe what our eyes see, that nothing is being altered, adjusted. The defense is obviously arguing that the video was altered in some way, that it was changed around. So we'll see if that's able to actually come in through evidence. But it's generally something that's difficult to overcome because, again, just psychologically, we believe if we see something with our own eyes, we believe it. So when there is, violence, things like that, hostile images, that can be difficult to overcome.
So the defense acknowledges Combs' volatility and his unconventional lifestyle, but argues that being mean or jealous isn't the same as sex trafficking. So legally speaking, where is the line drawn between personal misconduct and federal crimes?
So with federal crimes and with any crime that you're charged with, you have to meet a burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And that is certainly different from someone having just a certain proclivity for certain acts or bad behavior, if we'd like to call it that. But if we have issues where there are consenting adults, which there is ample evidence of consenting adults in all of these, charges that we have going on. This isn't an issue with children, underaged people. These are otherwise consenting adults with acts that maybe some people might not do themselves or might frown upon, but that doesn't mean that they're illegal or that they constitute racketeering or, a criminal enterprise of any sort of way. So actually proving it in court is certainly much different than how someone might feel about, the moral aspects of a life that someone who's been in the music industry for, upwards of 30 years, prolifically might lead.
Yeah, so obviously not a slam dunk to raise that, to meet that burden of proof. Hannah, also, given the intense media scrutiny, given how he's a mogul, I mean, there's very few adults in this nation that don't know of his work or his name or his face and his celebrity. Does that make things more difficult for prosecutors? To whose advantage does that play?
It depends, is the short answer. So again, given his extensive music career, P. Diddy was beloved. And recently as 2022 and 2023, both BET and MTV awarded him Lifetime Achievement Awards. So this is someone, again, who has been a household name. All of us, everyone knows who he is. Everyone can sing at least one song. He's the circles that he ran in, the movies that he's been in. Just because, we know this person gives, great weight to the fact that people want to maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. However, it also can swing the other way when it's constant media inundation of, legal concepts, these words, hostile images that are coming across, and it's hard to escape that. So someone that we know, that everyone's heard of, that everybody understands who they are, it can really go both ways. Mm-hmm. And I think in a case like this, with someone who has been notoriously so beloved for decades, and who he is no, stranger to criminal charges, but he has somehow been able to come out unscathed from each and every one of them, again, scaling back about 30 years, and with, still continuing his music career.
So if he is convicted on all counts, what kind of sentence could he realistically face? And how do you think that might affect his standing in the entertainment industry, both legally and culturally?
If he's convicted even just of racketeering, that's a life in prison.
Whoa.
That's life. So if he's just on racketeering, it's over.
Yeah.
He's not coming out of this. The sex trafficking, that's 15 years minimum. Some of the others are about 10 years minimum. So he's 55 years old. If he's found guilty on the trafficking, that's, he'll be 70 before he gets out. If he, on the other hand, though, is, found not guilty on these charges, because the prosecution does not, like you said, they do not have a slam dunk. They have some issues. This will be a battle. But if he is able to come out of this, as with the other charges, unscathed, then he'll have, the civil cases to deal with. But I think he'll be able absolutely to deal with those with no problem.
All right. Well, I heard the judge is thinking that this trial itself might last a couple months. Hannah Waddell, we hope you will join us in the coming weeks to perhaps chime in on how this trial is progressing. We really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. It's Heather Waddell.
I'm sorry. I thought it was Hannah. Heather Waddell. My apologies.
It's okay.
All right. Good luck at 26th and Cal. I've spent many, many days exactly in that building where you are right now.
I'm sure. Thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you guys soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye.
Sorry about that, Heather. Okay, 10:45. When we come back, right on cue. It's about lunchtime. Well, for me,
I'm starving right now. I was just telling Anthony on the commercial, I'm so hungry. I forgot we have to talk about barbecue.
One of Chicago's favorite barbecue joints just got some major recognition. We are going to meet the team behind this amazing product coming up.
Barbecue, because we're talking with them right now. One of Chicago's favorite barbecue joints just got major recognition, and we wish we had smell-o-vision even from our end. Love Food recently named Smoke Barbecue the best barbecue in Illinois. And if you've been there, you probably aren't surprised. So we're joined by Barry Sorkin of Smoke Barbecue. Good morning, Barry. Thanks for joining us.
Congratulations.
Woohoo!
Good morning. Thank you. And thanks for having me.
What an honor. Okay, so let's talk about your barbecue, because it's Texas-style brisket. It's become legendary for being so rich and flavorful that it doesn't even need sauce. My mouth is watering just talking about this. What is the secret to getting that perfect balance of fat, smoke, and tenderness?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of different things. Fat is what makes brisket so decadent and so much fun to eat. So you want to trim it just so that you get enough to keep it juicy and flavorful and rich, but without overwhelming it. So there's a little bit of an art to that. And then as far as smoke goes, I think a mistake that a lot of like new barbecue people or new barbecuers or hobbyists make is that they want to just overload the meat with smoke. They want to get these billowing, massive smoke cloud coming out of their smoker. And that's not really what you're looking for. You're looking for a little bit more subtle so that the meat shines and that the smoke is just sort of an accent.
Barry, how did you hone your craft? This is an art form that you've clearly mastered. Where did it start for you?
It started in my backyard, like a lot of people. I was working a corporate job and, cooking in my backyard sort of as a hobby. And, kind of simultaneously was getting frustrated with the work I was doing at my other career and starting to feel confident in my barbecue skills, and also kind of noticing that Chicago just didn't at the time have the kind of barbecue that I had fallen in love with in other parts of the country. And so I thought all those things kind of coming together kind of pushed me in this direction.
So you said that you don't need sauce with the meat that you guys are smoking and cooking there, but rumor has it your sauces are really good. So tell us about your sauces. Do you make them yourself? How did you come up with those ideas?
When we developed our sauces, it was really all about coming up with something that would complement the meat. Like barbecue sauce can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, and people like to put it on anything and dip their fries in it. And I'm all for that. I do that too. But like when you're talking about like making really good quality barbecue, like to me, the sauce should always kind of be a supporting character, and the meat should really shine. And the purpose of the sauce should be to complement the flavors that are in the meat, not overwhelm them. And so that was sort of our guiding principle, is like, what does this sauce go with on our menu? And what should that flavor profile be that is going to be a good kind of pairing for the meat that it's going to go with?
So does it like come on the side? It's kind of like a little dip.
Yeah, we serve all of our sauces on the side. We do like put a very, very light glaze on our ribs just to give them a little bit of a sheen, but by and large, all of our sauces on the side.
So good. All right, so this survey by Love Food, they basically picked the best barbecue in all 50 states. You were chosen from Illinois. Tell us about your reaction when you found out this news.
I mean, of course, it's great to hear. We always love to be the favorite and to be named and to get the recognition. But I have to say, there are so many barbecue places in Illinois and in Chicago that I love and respect. And candidly, I'm just happy to be in the conversation with any of them.
Gentlemen.
I know.
You're a gracious gentleman. We got to have you in studio, physically
Please.
in the studio or out on the plaza during Orange Friday.
Oh my goodness, smell good.
Where
Well,
exactly?
I always bring food when I come in person. So,
Okay, all right. We're going to hold you to that, Barry. Okay, where exactly are you located? How do people find you if they want to sample the product?
And what should they order
Yes,
if it's their first
yes.
time? What do we need to
man.
get?
So we are at 3800 North Pulaski, right at the corner of Pulaski and Grace. I can order in person or online through our website. I have to say, we've become very much known for our brisket, and I love our brisket, but I think our ribs are standouts as well. I particularly like the St. Louis ribs. They're a little bit more fat content than a baby back, although we offer both. I tend to lean towards the St. Louis.
Okay.
And then you got to get the sides, the mac and
definitely.
cheese. What else
Yeah,
you got?
do you have a
Cornbread.
favorite side there? I'm good. Yeah, mac and cheese, cornbread.
Yeah, I love our mac and cheese. I love our fresh cut fries. I mean, we go to a lot of trouble to do like really good quality fresh cut fries that are like, fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside. That was sort of our thing when we opened. it was sort of the paradigm at the time that like barbecue places would have, they put a lot of energy into doing their meats really well, but their sides were kind of throwaways. And, we wanted to make sure that if we were putting something on the plate that, it was an honest effort to make something special and great. And of course, like, some things are divisive. We do a vinegar-based coleslaw that some people love, some people not quite
There's
their
your
cup of tea,
veggie.
but
Yeah.
we wanted to make sure that it was, fresh ingredients and, kind of interesting ideas and flavors that we were putting together.
I can't wait to stop by 3800 North Pulaski. Barry Sorkin, congratulations to you and the entire team over at Smoke BBQ.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Very, very well done. It is 10:53. We are almost wrapped up here, but not before, it's my favorite part of the show.
What?
Visiting r/Chicago, the Reddits.
Oh, the
Caitlin,
Reddits.
The
the Reddits. That's what's coming up next. Oh, yeah, the Reddit threads.
I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you exactly
Curious.
what is trending on
Yes.
Reddit Chicago when we come back.
Do you think he eats barbecue every day?
I would if I were him.
You know? Welcome back, Chicago. Thank you for joining us on Chicago Now, our second week of Chicago Now, and we are still
Full
having
swing.
a blast.
We missed you yesterday, Caitlin.
Well, I heard Elizabeth was here.
Yeah, it was great to see Elizabeth. I
Obsessed
love her
with
too.
Elizabeth. So what a
Yes.
great time. So now we're talking about Reddit. So do you want to bring up the first topic?
Okay,
We're so
so
excited.
these are what are trending on Reddit this morning.
It's pretty much afternoon, listen.
For us, right?
Oh,
we get
for
up at like 3
sure.
in the morning.
It's 4:30 according
Okay,
to our body.
one of the things that folks are chiming in on our Chicago is the response to this question right here. If you could add any store to Chicago, what would it be?
And you
Let's
had
check
an
out some of
answer.
these. I did. One thing immediately occurred to me. Let's see what some of the Redditors chimed in with.
While I pull
While
it
they're
up, do you
pulling
wanna
that
just
up,
say?
I will say mine.
Okay.
And that is, I like El Milagro tortillas. You ever seen those?
No.
Okay, they're made down on the southwest side. They make a good flour tortilla. They make a solid corn tortilla.
Okay.
They need to be pushed a little bit.
What do you mean?
I think they're nearing on a local monopoly on the tortilla market. So I would like to see another tortilleria
Yeah.
come to town to give El Milagro a run for their money. Down in Austin, Texas, when I visit my friends down in Austin, they've got a grocery store chain down there. I believe it's HEB.
Yeah.
And in every location,
HEB. I'm gonna Google it.
they
Wait,
have a person rolling fresh tortillas, both corn, flour, and a mix of corn and flour, putting it on the conveyor belt and serving them hot in the grocery store. So I'm not saying we need the HEBs here. I love Mariano's, Jewel.
Oh, you can buy them online. HEB tortillas.
You can?
Yeah, look. Straight from the bakery.
20 flour tortillas made fresh in
$5.
store. See? Made fresh in store. Made fresh in store. That's what I would like to have. But that's good to know, Caitlin. I might order myself 100 or so
They've
and
got a
put 80 of
website.
them in the freezer. So that would be my vote. I'd like to
Love.
see more fresh made tortillas. Okay, here we go. Shai Kutimi says high-rise Japanese urban department store complex like Takashimaya or Mitsukoshi, with the fancy restaurants on the top floors, massive food hall, and upscale grocery in the basement.
Whoa.
Oh, attached to the metro station. So this is a thing, I guess, in Asia, is where they. I guess we have something similar at Ogilvy, where there's a lot of stuff. It's like a concourse and a lot of stores and mall type atmosphere right at the terminal. But I think that's a thing in Asia where you have it all
Good
centered
options
around
right
around the train station. So I get that.
I used to
get
take
that.
the South Shore line here, and I got to say, there's a smoothie joint right next to where you get on the South Shore line train.
That's nice.
And it's exact convenience, because then you're like, ooh, I could get one of those.
How about
Drink
you,
it on the way
Caitlin? Any
home.
stores where you visit somewhere else and you're like, I wish I had that here.
You know,
wish they
something I
had that
really
here."
miss when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, something that they offered was this venue. It's not necessarily a store or a restaurant, but it's a venue where they would host, it would be open all the time for whitewater rafting.
Oh.
Or like kayaking was their thing, but they would have all kinds of like music going on. They had high ropes course, breweries would come out. It was, we gotta wrap it up.
So it's like an adventure.
Whitewater Rafting Center is what it's called out of North Carolina. If we could have one of those, oof,
Hey, that'd be
it would
good.
do so
That'd be
well.
a good addition to the Riverwalk.
Right?
When we